Is it
Okay, we
working
do
now?
it live.
Are we live?
Oh yeah, we're always live. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the fifth annual Miyazaki Shits. Ding 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 ding.
You
Woo.
sure it's the fifth?
No, I'm never sure.
It's the fourth.
The fourth was good last time, so I figured the fifth sounds good this time.
Uh,
We just ballpark it around here. Well, you don't, but that's why you're here. I don't even
I
know
don't
what the
have the
fuck we're
numbers this time.
watching until
I don't have the
Thursday night.
numbers in front of me. Hold on. What did we see?
We saw
Totoro.
Lupin, Totoro, the one with the
Oh,
flowers with
right,
the
Lupin.
bugs.
I forgot about Lupin.
Yeah. So you're doing the fucking the Watchmen shit for this series that I did.
Yeah. So Nausicaa, Lupin, uh, Totoro,
Four. So it is.
Castle in the Sky.
Oh, Castle. We did watch. So it is the fifth shit.
Yeah, you're
I've been
right.
right the whole time, dude. Fucking genius. I knew it. I never doubted myself to begin with.
Someone has to doubt you.
That is true.
He'll get
Someone
out of
definitely.
control of you.
Someone has to doubt me because in the 90% I'm wrong, we need someone to check that.
So, from the top, the fifth annual.
From the top, the fifth annual Miyazaki shits. Um, let's dive into this boring ass movie. Because this one, unlike Totoro, did not get better. I lied. It got a little bit better, but only because I understood what they were talking about, not because the movie was any better than it did the first watch. Because I watched this a long time ago. I think I watched it in theaters. They were doing like a rerun. By the way, anyone listening, check your theaters listing. Because a lot of theaters do this and don't fucking tell you that they re-release old movies. So it might be the ones I'm most familiar with, like the anime shits. You just go and check a random like 2 day showing, Friday and Saturday only, of a cool ass old anime movie. But they also do other ones like old classics, black and white film. You never know what you're gonna get, but just kind of weekly check up on your local shits to go see what they're showing. um, but
And check on your shits too. It might be
yeah,
red.
check on those two. Make sure you don't got any blood in there. But yeah. So like, what do you call it? PSA aside, um, what we take it from the top. Where do you want to start? Because I don't want to shit on this movie, but I feel myself preparing to
This
shit on this
movie's
movie.
so good.
Oh, it is. Tell me why.
Um, it's cute.
No, it's not.
The cat is hilarious.
Listen, dude. If fucking Gigi wasn't in this movie, and that's how good it had to be that I remembered his name. I don't ever know anybody's name ever, and I said if that fucker was not in this movie, it would have been at least 1 point lower. But I don't know. Let's go over the good. Let's go over the good. What do you? No, we'll
All
do the
right.
good last. We'll leave on a good note. Let's do. Let's take it from the top because they're gonna be good and bad mixed in. And I'm gonna bitch anyway. So first thing of note though that I think this movie definitely didn't get the love and attention that, or unless it was a stylistic choice. There was no intro. Well, there was, but it was like after she left, sort of like a montage.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just her flying. And I don't know. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that's what they were going for. Um, but I just felt like, where's the intro? Where's the set the stage? It was just her laying on a thing. Also, if we're gonna consider the entire first like 3 minutes, five, the intro, why didn't anything in the rest of the movie have anything with her being a witch at all?
The whole movie was about her being a witch.
It wasn't though. They established she could fly. That was it. She never did her training. She never got any better. She never went home. She like never
She
got
wasn't
any new.
supposed to go home. She was supposed to be away from home for a year.
Well, yeah, but it was
Like
almost
working on her.
it was at least like 3 or 4 months or whatever when she was like in the post credit scene,
Yeah.
and she was doing the same shit, just flying around.
Yeah, that's her training. She decided to specialize in flying.
That's not a specialization. She didn't get any better. She could barely fly through the wind. Even they said it at
Yes.
the beginning of the movie. She sucks at flying.
Yes.
So I don't get it. Like, they never showed her become this confident flyer.
She did by the end.
No, she didn't. She went from I can't fly at all now to being really shitty. Or sorry, she went from I can barely fly to now I really can't fly and I suck to now I can fly average again. Where's the training? Where's the whole shit? The other fortune teller bitch.
She finally decided that's what her specialization was going to be, and then when she realized she started delivering that shit, and it became like her job, and then she just fell out of love with it, and then she realized she actually still liked doing it, so she wanted to go back to doing it.
Now that part is the message that gives this movie the tiny little piece of snippet that like bumped it up from my first watch. Because I didn't really catch that the first watch. Because it was just like watching it, kicked back to the theater, probably had a few drinks, so it didn't really like kick in.
Yeah.
But that's the only reason this movie got any better, because even that message was like a little lost to me. Because she's 13, and she had been doing this for like a couple days. I don't give a shit, lady. Like, she had at this point two deliveries. She delivered the toy and the cake. So, like, 2 weeks of living there, maybe
she delivered the passy at the very beginning. You forgot that one.
Oh, sorry. So I'll give her 3 deliveries, and let's be generous, a month and a half that she lived there. I just can't do this, okay? I don't have the passion.
I think it was just the main ones. She probably had some other ones in between.
Well, then we need a montage to see that.
Yeah, I would say that we would need a montage, but still.
That's poor filmography if there was supposed to be this interpreted, she's been doing a lot.
This is also Miyazaki's, an adaptation of a book, so.
Oh, so it's not his.
True.
Okay, so just like the last film, it's kind of shittier and doesn't look as good as all the ones that were his.
Yes.
Except for Lupin, but that's just the series is so good by itself.
I think it's based on it.
Well, let's find out. To the internet.
To the internet. Yes. KiKi's delivery service based on a book.
Well, there you go. Okay.
And novel, same name.
Did it come out like from what we were talking about the last film, where it came out at the same time, where he was just putting shit on the back burner?
He was still working when this came out. He was still working on the manga for Nausicaa.
Okay. So we can
at least... this is a 1985 novel. So he read it, probably was like, "This is awesome. I'm gonna make an anime with this," and then they were like, "Yeah."
Huh. You know, I wonder if this is the kind of reason why they don't give people so much power at companies, because then he does some shit like this, and then it's just boring and not as good as like his regular works. I'm not saying this movie's awful for anyone who like heard that and was like, "Oh, you just think it sucks. You're stupid, and I hate you." It's like, I'm not saying it's the worst movie ever made.
Oh, she also could talk to a cat. That was part of her witch training.
That wasn't even training. That was just she's always been able to do that, I guess.
Yeah, but then she couldn't talk to him whenever she was losing her magic powers.
Speaking of, she never talked to him for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. I don't know what that was about.
Weird.
Maybe she was... Yeah.
I didn't know if that's a weird coming-of-age thing. She has to leave behind the cat to be an adult. I don't know what the fuck was going on. But he never spoke again for the rest of the movie, as if he couldn't speak for the rest of the movie. Or she couldn't hear him anyway. That was really weird. I didn't like that. I was like, why didn't he say anything? He got his own plot line, too. He went and had kids, little babies with the snooty cat. Like, I wanted more of the cat. I wanted him to say something. Like, he's honestly a good 50% of this movie. Maybe 40, 35, but he was her support network. He was there from the beginning. He knew her better than anyone else. From the very beginning, he was a good voice of reason for her. She didn't listen to him often, but he was funny.
Maybe it was like she never could really talk to him, and it was just like a kid thing. Like, it's her... You know how kids talk to their imaginary friends or talk to fucking... Yeah. Now she's growing up, so she doesn't make that stuff up that the cat actually talks to him anymore.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe there's a message in there about like...
Because like all of Miyazaki shits are about growing up, right?
A lot of them anyway, or at least there's something about either technology or like changing, moving. Things are different now. I could see that. Yeah, definitely that like it wasn't portrayed very well. But you're right. I could definitely see something like that where it's like she has to learn to grow or whatever. Um, I do think the movie had to touch on the good points now because we got back. Excuse me. I think the movie had a few of those of like I can see what they're trying to do with the artsy fartsy shit. It just did not land. I don't know if we didn't have enough time with the characters. We didn't have enough whatever. But whatever we didn't have enough of, we definitely did not have enough of because so many things I said, I'm pretty sure they're trying to do this. It just didn't land. And I don't know. Like, for example, The Friend. The Friend was pretty good, but he was definitely supposed to be the, like, young go getter. I don't care about books and school and what my parents want. I care about my dreams, and I'm going to help snap you back to reality because you love flying just like I love flying. But I didn't get any of that because, number one, she never liked flying. Like, it was never a thing that even since the beginning she was like, I just love flying everywhere. Like, which plays back into the whole she lost her mojo and her passion for life because it became her job, which happens to many adults. But we didn't get any of that. Like we didn't see her flying and doing loop de loops and just talking about, Kiki, come down from there. You can't just fly all day on your broom. But I love it so much, Mom. Nothing. We didn't get anything that like showed me that she was losing something by flying. If anything, that bitch never flew. She didn't like it at all, and she was never good at it, so she didn't do it based on how she left home. So I'm thinking like, how is he the allegory to her pick me up to her downer if they don't even have the same interests? Because she's not interested in flying. She never has been. Which also made the weird she lost her mojo thing, which I'm still going to complain about because it happened so fucking quickly. Same thing for the toy. She went, dropped the toy in the forest, went to the house, we'll call it 5 minutes. Went back to the forest, searched for, we'll call it 10 minutes. Found the cabin. 5 minutes later after conversation, so 20-minute period. If I did the math right, probably not. Math is not my strong suit. She finds the cabin. Hey, that's the black cat, that's mine. I've grown pretty attached to him. In the last 20 minutes? No, you didn't. So I think a lot of this might come from the translation from book to movie. Because I don't know how many pages it was. Maybe that's a good thing to know, so I'm not just, talking out of my ass. But if I was going to give this credit where maybe it's not due, it's because the book was 700 pages long and had time to develop her journey through all of this shit and really personalize her as a character. The movie was 140 minutes and did not have time to do any of that, so all this shit felt like it came out of nowhere and the message was lost.
Maybe. I'm looking up how long the book is right now.
Gotcha. I figured I'd let you, like, I'd breathe for a second and let you go because I don't want to. This isn't just the rant show. I notice I start ranting whenever we've had something that's
No,
less good.
that's what we want. We want the rant.
No, we don't. The fans hate the
numbers.
rants.
It adds the numbers.
Everyone knows, based on popular, internet demographically speaking, that nobody likes drama or negativity. Everyone hates
pages, so it's a small-ish book.
72 pages?
176 pages.
Oh. So it's not that long. So I wonder what the book did that we didn't get. Or maybe the book just wasn't that good. I'd have to read it to know, right?
Book.
But
it's a children's book, so
it's a children's book.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, this changes everything.
Well, look, why does Kiki not understand Chi-Chi?
Oh, yeah, let's see what the fans have to say. Like, are you already
Chi-Chi
Googling
represents Kiki's childish self, so her inability to understand him after regaining her flying powers is symbolic of her having grown up. Hey.
Oh, God. Ew. Ew. That is the fucking worst.
Wait. Was he? Is this in the 1998 Disney dub restored Kiki's ability to understand Gigi in order to give American kids a happier ending?
Oh.
I didn't notice that. Did you notice that?
I didn't watch the American ending, so I watched it on Max.
Yeah, but that's the Disney dubbed version.
Is it? Oh yeah, because there was English language. Weird. So why didn't we get that?
Maybe there's like some kind of weird hybrid version that made it like, oh, it's like the Japanese, but they still have the English dub on there. I don't know.
Maybe. Um, it's interesting that they said that though, to have a happier ending, because normally I wouldn't. If you just told me the script and told me everything, and then yeah, she grows up and can't talk to the cat anymore, I wouldn't think that's a sad ending. But watching it, it definitely was a sad ending. I was like, when does he come back? When do I get to talk to him? How do I? I didn't even hear about his girlfriend. He just left not midway, a little after midway, 60% through the movie, and he just never came back. His character essentially died 60% through the movie, and we got no closure. That's awful. Like, that's just bad. At least we could have got like a moment. And if you're gonna have something like that that just rips my heart out, at least give me a moment.
Yes, there's two different English versions.
Huh.
They went back over it in 2010 and did some changes.
I see.
That's probably the one that's on Max. Probably just made it seem more like the Japanese version.
Oh, so we got the updated, more canon version.
I guess.
I see.
I'm not sure.
Interesting. Well, it's funny to think about that, right? How much media goes through localization and this and censorship and rewrites and revisions and which one are you watching? So much of that shit, right? And at this day and age, you never know if you're watching old media what you're really going to get, right?
Probably the Miyazaki thing. He's pretty anal about his work, so he probably saw the American version and was like, "I do not like this."
Right.
This is like he's very artsy fartsy, so you take away part of his artsy fartsy, he's probably gonna be pissed.
Right. Now, that makes sense. But yeah, it sucks though because his artsy fartsy in this one sucked. He didn't give me anything, dude. Like I need a bone, right? Throw me a bone. He didn't throw me any bones the whole movie. He just told me, "Hey, there's a bone over there." That's like the best way I can describe this movie. Is like
Yeah, it's traditional, basic coming of age Disney-esque story about a little witch who decides, or she's gonna move out of her hometown, become independent, and then there's like some sub themes of like the youth being what's the word,
irresponsible.
unappreciative of like the gifts, like the little fucking tyke who got the cat gift was a little shithead about the
Right?
cat gift.
The girl with the cakes. Ew, I hate these fucking cakes. I said,
Right,
oh,
yeah. So
so
there's
you
like a
can't
small
say
little
that.
theme about how like the youth just aren't how they're traditionally raised versus how money and society is like ruining children and their manners and stuff like that, I guess.
I can see that. That's why I say
She's like,
it's like the movie told you there's bones over there, but they never threw it to me.
well, they don't want you to they don't want to give it to you. They want you to reach for it.
Yeah, but they didn't give me enough to reach for. It was out of reach. Some of this stuff was good though. Like you said, those were actually good points, right? The shitty kid who was destroying his toys and didn't care about shit. And then the girl who was just a snob bitch about her grandma who put the fucking love and care in the world into her food. Those two were really good points that actually landed really well. But all the Kiki stuff did not land well, I guess is my thing. And the biggest thing that comes to mind is the fact that she's dealing with like 25-year-old, maybe in this day and age, 30-year-old problems. Like,
Maybe Miyazaki believes in child labor because between this and Spirited Away,
that's funny. I mean, listen, I believe in child labor. Oh god, that's gonna be a YouTube short. Don't do it. Just fucking no. Anyway, what I mean is that you don't put kids in a fucking coal mine or some shit. But
why not? It builds character.
yes, but that's kind of what I'm getting at though. Is work does build character. So having little 12-year-old Sally or Timmy, have to scrub the floor somewhere.
Paper route, right? Like it's basically KiKi's delivery service.
Right. And that's it, right? So you start delivering paper, you start scrubbing floors, or like walking dogs. I don't know, whatever the fuck kids
helping
can
out
do.
in the bakery.
Right. Kids can do that. Like there's the weird child labor shit that we talk about is fucking stupid, and sometimes I feel like if you can hide it, anybody out there, you should do that. Bring your little Timmy and little Sally to your local restaurant you work at or wherever the fuck you work and have them do something simple like wash the dishes. Not like production level Saturday night at a restaurant wash the dishes, but like,
working a machining job.
but at a bakery, hey, spend the next 2 hours, washing the pans, relaxed with some music on. Let little 12-year-old Sally and Timmy get used to working at that age. Not teach them that it's all happy-go-lucky until they're fucking 17. Hey, you have no choice but to get a job now, and they've never lifted a finger in their life. You gotta go out there and learn to be your own person, especially at that age, or cooking, right? They can cook. They're not dumb. They know how to use things. They can use the stove. Like, especially in this day and age, with all like the education and the hormones or whatever, genetically, right? Whatever the whole genetic process is that like has kids come out smarter than the next generation or the last generation.
I don't believe that.
Huh?
Nothing.
You don't believe it?
No.
I believe it a little
I've met
bit.
these kids, they're fucking retarded.
That is
I can't
true.
say that word on YouTube.
I do believe. Oh, you can't. Do we get banned? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if the video gets banned. But
Okay.
I definitely
we don't have
think
enough viewers for that. It's okay.
that's true because they don't regulate the smaller channels. They only regulate the ones that get the money. But no, I think you're right though, because it doesn't. Maybe it's just the what do you say? The access to information. Because
Yeah.
if your parents weren't very smart and they had a kid, the kid's not going to be very smart. There's just no way around it because that's the influence they got. But if you have a kid now and you're not very smart, the kid can learn from the internet or from whatever
Right.
other sources, right? Also, the standards in school are fucking through the roof. Like I think most of my niece or somebody was doing like math and stuff that I was doing in college in like 10th grade. And then I remember
wish.
my parents talking about, oh, in like 8th grade, I was doing math that they did in high school.
Yeah.
So definitely educationally, are we reaching a breaking point? Is that ever going to like stop? Because we've been increasing the standards year by year by year for the last, I want to call it 25, 40 years. So like, when does education become that you're teaching calculus to fucking, 8th graders?
I was basically I learned calculus in 10th grade. So
That's what I'm saying. So when does it become calculus in
most
8th
people
grade?
I knew were like taking calculus in senior year.
Oh,
So
well then when does it become calculus at 7th grade? 6th? Like,
right.
where does it stop? And what capacity for knowledge do humans have is kind of what I'm wondering.
I mean the capacity is, I'm not gonna say limitless, but you forget a lot of stuff that you don't need. So like if you're I think it's better that they are training they're teaching that math that kind of math earlier on. Especially for all the kids who are going into sciences and stuff like that, which I think most kids should be going into instead of the things they are going into.
Right. At least it's more applicable in most
Right.
things. No, it's interesting because I always figured like that's why I was talking about the genetic thing. Is like I wonder if kids are just they have more of an ability to learn that stuff now than they did before, or it was just never forced on them. So therefore, the floor was so low they never achieved. But now that the floor has been raised, they have to achieve, kind of thing.
Yeah. Calculus is usually taken by high school seniors or university freshmen, so it hasn't changed at least in the last 10 years.
Okay.
Occasionally it can be taken as early as 10th grade. Hey, look at that. There's me.
You're an overachiever.
I was not. Not in English. I was terrible.
Listen, English sucks, though. To be guys who talk about literature and shit, and anybody out there, if you're feeling this way, if we have any younger viewers out there, don't worry. English fucking sucks.
It's funny. I was taking remedial English in 10th grade, but I was taking calculus.
Right? I mean, shit, I failed like a couple of English classes, and then eventually like I had to just, get by. But you would think it's like, well, I know how to read, I know how to enjoy storytelling, I know how to analyze media. I can do all these things. But the problem
It was
is
really weird when I got to college. They were like, there was a lot of classes I couldn't take because the school just kind of like shoved me through the system. And
right,
so when I got to college, my English wasn't as good, so they had to put me in remedial college English.
right?
I was like, the fuck? No, you can't take any other. You can only take these college courses. You can't take any of these until you pass remedial English.
That's funny.
So,
Especially when it's like unrelated.
right.
You can't take this until you learn how to write a paper on the current political landscape. It can be a 5-page with
I was writing papers in my like some of my coding classes.
right?
But
You know my
whatever.
favorite thing about English that is obviously, the greatest thing humanity has ever made is MLA format. Oh, baby.
Bro, you just gave me flashbacks.
I'd suck a dick for MLA format. Oh, man, there is nothing better. Like Really though, I would choke if I had the dude right here. Maybe not literally choke him, but I definitely would. At least it would cross my mind to punch him in the fucking nose, or her, whoever the fuck made MLA format, because that is the dumbest shit that you require. All of grade school, fucking fourth grade, MLA format has to be an MLA format. Motherfuckers, why? I get that you want people to credit their sources so you stop the spread of misinformation. I'm all for it. But the implementation of their systems is god awful. And it's always been. This is the problem with English. Their systems are flawed and shitty. You give, for example, 1,000 kids the same shitty book that not everyone's gonna like and say, read it and tell me why it's important. No. I don't give a fuck. I literally am somebody who, like, does this, I mean, not for a living, but we do this fucking, these videos. I have to watch shit and use my brain power to, like, understand if I'm watching media I don't enjoy. Why was that good? Why was it bad? Let's understand what the fuck is going on here. It takes active effort. And you put that shit on, like 13-year-old kids and tell them to do that? No. It's just wild how so many years of, like, educators haven't realized all you gotta do is let them pick. Like, give them a book that they might like. Let them be interested in something. Tell them to give a topic that they enjoy. And watch how fucking fast they'll give you 2 pages, 3, 4. Like, and then their analysis is also stupid. Because I've been in an English class before that told me, hey, you need to do this, and you need to analyze this and give your results from the text. They always love that term, from the text. Support it. And oh, buddy. I read a story that was so just fucking dumb, like just annoying levels of drama and like metaphor. It was just god-awful, extra, over-the-top, sappy bullshit. So I looked, and I never found instances of characters' thoughts. And it was all fucking, was it first person? I don't know which person it is. Again, more of that dumb shit they force you to memorize which person it is, perspective it is. Can I see the thoughts or not? You don't have to be smart to be smart, is what I'm telling you, folks.
You gotta be pretty smart to be smart, though.
Huh?
You gotta be pretty smart to be smart.
I mean, yeah, you gotta be smart, but not like smart. Like, there's differences.
You gotta be book smart.
Yeah, you ain't gotta be. You don't have to memorize definitions to be smart. Because I don't have any idea what the fuck perspective it was, but I knew I couldn't see their thoughts. So I just made an entire fucking thing about how the main character was an asshole and was using her for money or something. Just a whole fucking fanfic about what actually happened in the story. And then she said something about you have to use evidence in the text. I said, I did. I said, if you look on page here and page here, he did this action. Whatever he did. And I was like, that action could be interpreted as this, or this, psychologically speaking. If he was in this state of mind, he would act this. I had to give her the whole fucking rundown. And she couldn't say shit. She had to give me like a high grade. And that's where I learned to enjoy English, was to piss off the teachers in college. But anyway, short story long, for anybody who's here for Kiki and not this bullshit. But if you're not here for this...
Kiki.
If you're not here for this bullshit, then why are you even watching us? Huh?
It's part of Kiki.
Right, education.
Yeah. The youth.
The youth.
She was learning to be a witch. She was learning.
Right. But, yeah, just if you're struggling with English, fuck it, dude. Just do what they... You know what they want. Because I can tell you I passed some high school English classes by lying. You just lie to them. You literally tell them what they want to hear. If they give you a poem that says, he awoke. He looked to the left. Sadness. He went back to bed. You need to give them a fucking full 20-page essay on the causes and the root cause analysis of depression in the modern day youth. And you might think, what the fuck? It was a 4-line shitty poem about somebody who woke up and was tired and went back to bed. No, no, no. You cannot say that. You have to give them a full fucking bib and go find the author. Tell them about the author when he was 5 years old, what he had for breakfast. They need to know these things, because if you don't get in the head of the author, you can never know what they felt. So you have to know that when he was 5, his mom told him there's no corn pops. You have to have Frosted Flakes. And he was pissed. And he didn't talk to her for 2 days, which caused him to have internal trauma, which eventually went on to him being an adult, which caused him to hate corn pops. So the whole thing just goes.
Tell everyone you hate corn pops?
No, but that was a pretty good story on the fly, wasn't it? Anyway, yeah, you gotta learn what they want.
Didn't get his corn pops.
No, that was a good story though. It's not personal. I'll tell you what's actually really good, like off the cuff, is Apple Jacks. I never asked for them. I never wanted them, but fuck, are they delicious every time they're in front of me. Apple Jacks are like low key really fucking good, but it's never one of those that people ask for. It's always Captain Crunch, Reese's Puffs,
If
Cookie
it doesn't
Crisp.
destroy your mouth, it's not delicious.
Oh, it's delicious. I like the fucking one with the berries too. Oh baby.
Oh no.
Anyway, back to the whole shits. So you're right though. They had metaphorical whatevers. They had the whole thing coming of age, but those are things also that 13-year-olds deal with. 13-year-olds don't go into careers like I love mechanics. For my happened to my brother, for example. My brother went into a mechanics field. He was going to become a mechanic on dirt bikes because he always rode dirt bikes and he was a full-time mechanic at a shop. And he was like, I asked him about it. I said, hey man, why aren't you working on bikes, dude? You could be at the track, fucking doing repairs mid-race or something. Like, that could be your whole shit. He was like, dude, fuck that. I was like, what? He said that's gonna ruin all the fun of going to the track. He was like, working on shit sucks. It's just a long process. It never fucking the parts never come in or they don't fit right or the fucking bolts always stripped. Like he's just like it's just not fun. So he learned at some point in his mid-20s after loving since we were kids, we had little
Right.
like model dirt bikes and toys. He would take them apart and try and put them together. They never went back together. They were just piles. But he would always do that even since we were fucking children. So he's definitely always had a knack for it, always a passion for it. But he was like genuinely against going into that field because he knew it would take away his passion for it. And that's the same thing for anything. I tell programmers out there, if any programmers are watching, don't get all hopped up and cuckoo about how great it's going to be to go program and I'm going to go make stuff and blah, blah, blah. No, that's all college. You get to program fun stuff and make projects in college. You don't do that shit in real life. You get a job as a programmer, 80% of your job is software deployment and bug fixes. That's all you do, unless you're on a special project, new software development, which is very rare at companies because the landscape today in 2024, in case some of you are watching this fucking 10 years from now, if we ever get big, the landscape is that pretty much you don't do that because everything is a black box. I don't need you to create, for example, a user interface. User interfaces are so common that a kid in high school can go to a fucking site, drag and drop some shit, and have a website up in 10 minutes. I don't need you to create that.
That was true 10 years ago.
Yeah, but it's becoming more and more like common now.
Right.
Because you're right though, the technology's been there, but it takes the market a few years to catch up. But so yeah, all these things you don't do those anymore. Like if you want to, for example, you want to be a game programmer, you're not. I promise you right now, you go into fucking some company and you become a game developer and you're gonna be. I'm working with Unreal. I'm gonna be working in Unreal and create all these things. No, you're not. They're gonna copy and paste movement, physics, user interface, everything. Jump mechanics, everything, sword swing mechanics, all of those are assets that they get off the fucking internet or they get from their previous game. You are not going to create anything. You're going to go in there and put shit together and then you're going to fucking be done. It just sucks. It happened to me, it happened to me personally. I forgot about that. I guess it happens to all of us. It was video production. I used to love editing video. That was like my thing. I took 3 years of video production at Swafford. And it was just awesome, dude. I loved it every day. You'd go in there and you'd get some footage and be like, oh, how can I put it together? Can I do this? And you'd talk with the guys while they're filming because you're all a very close grouped, together. Hey, what if we film this way? Do this and I can add this effect. You would just all kind of work together to make these awesome fucking things. Man, by my 3rd year, he had me like, not an apprenticeship, but he was talking about my teacher. He was talking about getting me a job at the news station and he gave me some projects to work on to like have a resume built. It fucking sucked. They gave me like an hour and a half of footage, or maybe 45 minutes of footage, some amount of footage. And they said, we need a 30-minute presentation of something, or we need a 15 minutes, some minutes of presentation. And the footage they gave me, you have to put it together in order. Like, that's it. They don't, there's no creative freedom. There's no fun. It's like, it was like a presentation for the school. So it was like, hey, this goes here. They're talking, transition here. It can't be a fun, wacky transition. It's a fucking discussion for the school. So, like, you just get so whittled down, and I didn't have any influence on how they filmed it. I didn't have any influence on where it went creatively. And I want you to imagine you work for Disney, and they give you footage, and they tell you to put it together. You don't get to do anything creative at all. You don't get to choose how it's done. You don't get to choose the special effects. You don't get to choose the transitions. It's all been chosen for you. The directors, the fucking writers, everyone else has already decided how it's supposed to look, what it's supposed to be like. All you do is cut, push, add a filter, color correct, Make it look
True.
nice.
True. But you can direct your own thing.
You could, and if you get in the field long enough, you get resources. I'm not saying steal them, but if you do get a license to some software that costs fucking 20 grand, 50 grand a year, maybe use their software to do some of your projects on your laptop at home. Just saying, you got to do what you got to do at the bottom level to get your way up. So maybe you use that as a foothold to get you something better in life. But I'm just telling you guys anywhere, that is not how life works, and college kind of lies to you about how creative and how much fun life is going to be. Nah, any job you get, dude, you're going to be fucking like shitty and not happy if you're making good money for a company or whatever, which is normally what you do in America. We live, my experience is companies here. Not to say it's all bad. Of course, you get good money, and like I said, there's opportunity. Shit, I've worked for companies, and they had resources that I used fucking on my own personal time to make my life better. So there's definitely opportunity out there, but just be careful. Don't let the world be all bright-eyed and buggy or whatever. But
Sound like Miyazaki.
that's philosophical shit. Yeah, let's get away from that. Back to Kiki shits. Twice we did that. This is short story long twice.
Trying to get more time out of you.
I think we need that though. Yeah, we need some time because this is gonna be a fucking short one. There's not much to say, but no, there's much to say. There's some more stuff. But back to what we said. Yeah, because back to what we were saying. That's why we were here. Short story long. Back to what we were saying.
Talking about the shitty youth.
She's not that old to deal with those problems.
Nah, she's a grown up. She's 13.
Exactly. I don't know. I just don't think that's not.
She's a teenager. She's on the verge of becoming an adult. The earlier she learns, the better.
Yeah, but that's too early.
Not in the 80s.
I don't know. I think even in the 80s, 13 was a little too early to be like, imagine you just see a fucking 13-year-old boy smoking cigarettes outside of a fucking warehouse.
That's about right for the 80s.
You know what, man? I swear to God, bud. They told me it'd be a good job, you know?
Yeah, but there was a lot of family stores in the 80s. There was a lot of kids who helped their parents out in their shops.
Oh. You're right. And they're happy to do it when they're 10, right?
Yeah.
And then they get older, and it's like, oh, fuck. I don't want to be stuck at this fucking shop all day. I want to go do fun stuff and be a kid. But you can't. Especially in Japanese culture, your parents determine your life back then.
Yeah. KiKi's definitely more applicable to like an 18-year-old, but still.
Right. No, I guess you're right. Because definitely some of that culturally doesn't play up in our culture as much.
Sure.
So that was a good point, because definitely they probably felt that. Imagine, because you are like 13 and your parents work in a fucking, I don't know, a shoe making fucking place. From the time you were like 5, you were probably doing shit at the fucking shop with your dad or mom making shoes. And it was like, that's what you've done forever. And you're like, yeah, I get to help out around the house. I get to do this. I love it. Then at some point you learn, fuck this. I don't love it. I don't even know why I like this to begin with. And you have to deal with that going into high school, especially because from 13 to like 18, those are supposed to be your growing years of like, I'm going out with my friends, making relationships, etc., etc. So maybe there's culturally something to that we may have missed, or that I missed, especially. I think you're the one who mentioned it. Still think it sucks. Because she also didn't fly. Even culturally, if I give that a pass, she wasn't shown to love flying or anything. She didn't learn how to fly any better. Well,
I mean, it's kind of still applicable to what we were talking about, because she just kind of picked flying because she was like, well, I know how to fly, so I guess that's what I'm gonna make my special skill. That's what I'm gonna study in school. I took a class on programming. I thought that was cool.
That's cool. You're right. Hold on. Because she didn't have much skills. All she knew was flying because her parents are witches.
Yeah.
So she's like, fuck it, I'll just pick this. Damn. It gets even better? Hold on. This is why we need this. Because for all the shit talk, we're learning, dude. Maybe this movie's better than I gave it credit for. Hold on. Okay, what else? What are we going to dive into? You know what I was about to say? I wish we got a movie of the fortune teller bitch. Because I'll bet it was cool. Like, I'll bet her movie is actually really cool. She shows up in a town.
Bullshit. She doesn't actually know how to fortune tell.
Maybe, but that's what I mean, right? Imagine she just, like, how cool that movie would be. She shows up to a town. She's, like, this nervous little girl. Then she's, like, she's in a fucking big city where everyone's an asshole and the fast life, the slick city shit. So then after a while, she has to learn, like, what works and what. So the first half of the movie is, like, shitty, right? Instead of the normal 3-act structure, the first half is fucking like, well, maybe the first tiny 10 minutes is like happy-go-lucky leaves home. Then it just goes downhill for like fucking 40 minutes, 30 minutes, until she learns how to work the streets and then becomes a fucking fake fortune teller if she has to be, or would that be cool, like a way to spin it? Or even a real fortune teller as a witch, and then learns how to sleaze people out of their money, becomes more and more confident, gets like position and power in the city, and becomes who she is today, and like this weird rise. That'd be kind of cool. I'd watch that. But anyway, back to Kiki shits. So
Yeah.
she let's see. So she's flying. That was a good point that you made. I don't, what else I have problems with? I think the boy was cool. I think I already mentioned that the boy was cool. That he pretty much was like a good allegory for like, hey, I like this shit, but I don't think their relationship and like her liking it and him liking it and her disliking it later on worked that good. I like the introduction of like the hot babe from the woods.
Yeah.
But I don't. I liked her character and what her character could have done, but she didn't do anything. I mean, they had the moment where she had the picture, and I mean, she did stuff. I don't know. It's one of those.
She
you didn't
told
give
her
me.
about. She told her about her like her passion is gonna will come back to her. It's just
Yeah,
it's fine.
I just didn't care. I guess is that my fault or the movie's fault?
Like that's your fault.
Maybe. It wasn't bad. I don't know. I didn't get enough of her to believe it, I guess, is where I was felt lacking. Like, she's a bum who lives in the woods, and her paintings suck and didn't sell. So, like, what did I get from her that's supposed to make me believe, like, man, she's the best. Everyone should listen to her. Because I have to care about her as much as Kiki does to believe their relationship, right? Or is that wrong?
No.
Huh. Maybe
I
not.
don't think so. Yeah.
But it was cool. I don't know. Let's take it from the top. Let's see. I was still pissed about the cat not talking. Makes me too sad. Oh yeah, did you ever see how she hops in that train? She said, "I'm going southbound to the ocean." She hops in the train and they took a whole like fucking 10-minute shot of the front of
Yeah.
the train that said NB. Is that northbound? Is she going to a different ocean?
I guess.
I figured they were trying to say something there, but they never like paid that off. I don't know why that was important ever, because it never became relevant in the story at all. But I did notice that. Let's see.
Maybe
I
it's
was.
just to show how like just with the wind, like how she doesn't really care where she's going. She's just kind of like, we'll go south. Like,
Or
she
maybe
just
how she had plans to go somewhere and it didn't work out what she wanted, but it was still good in the end.
right.
That's actually a real thing. That's a very
Yeah.
real thing that happens to like me many times. I was like, no, it's gonna go like this, or I'm gonna go here. I have these plans. Fucking all fell to shit, but then something better came along. Maybe.
Yeah.
So why is on retrospect all of the we've had so many points that are just like, man, that's good shit. We had like a whole conversation about life because of how much this is applicable to like
This is
real
art.
life shit.
That's what Miyazaki does.
But none of it was in the movie. The movie sucked.
It's in the movie. It's just subtle. We got to point it out to you.
No, this is bad. We're having conversations about like a 5, not even 5, a 2-second shot of the front of a train.
Yeah.
No,
That's art, Trey.
you gotta give something. And this is what I
Nah,
mean. If all he would have done is have her wake
that
up.
beautiful artistic English teacher shit that
Boo.
everyone loves.
Says you from the last movie. I just wish she would have at least woken up and been like, wait, what city is this? And been like, this city's on the south of the continent. I was supposed to go north or whatever, or opposite.
The other way.
If she just did that little bit and like had some stress about what she was going to do because it's not where she wanted to go, but then in the end it worked out, cool.
I thought it was just showing how she didn't really care, that she was like, oh well. But she didn't
could've
even
been.
do that. But
Well, we don't know, right? Because she never mentioned it ever again.
yeah.
And that's why I say, if you're going to give us artsy-fartsy shit, you got to give us just enough to help understand the character or their motivations or what they like or don't like or anything. So when the drama happens, I know how to correspond it to that character.
No, because then they're feeding it to you.
No! Her just being stressed out about the town she was in because it wasn't what she wanted or thought is not spoon feeding. I think you could do that subtly enough that you get me the message across that she's upset about it without that. Or even what you're talking about. She has an offhand comment, well, we're supposed to go south, but I guess we're here. Cool. That's all we need. It's just something to help me identify with the character's thoughts, emotions, feelings at any given time to know how when the story progresses, I can say, oh, she's not going to like that. Or, oh my God, that's going to be awful. And then when it does or doesn't turn out awful, I can be shocked or not shocked because I can say, wait, isn't she supposed to be stressed out because of this? And then the character has a moment where they say, you know, I'm not going to be stressed out because of this reason. And I'm going to try and learn from this. And it's like, oh shit, she's growing as a character. So then I can identify further points of contention with the character's personality and be able to identify like, oh, here's how she normally would react, but she's not doing that. Therefore, something's changed or there's something I don't know as the viewer. What don't I know? Let's watch and find out. Or whatever. That's how you create engagement, I guess. Or you think that's too much?
I don't think it's too much, but I think what they gave us is enough.
Huh. It's enough in discussion. But how many people discuss? Think about when I first watched it. I went to the theater for it and everything, which is I do still stand by the theater as the best experience.
Yeah.
And I didn't come out thinking that. I didn't come out with anything. I said, wow, it's cool. She went and got a job and she flew a couple packages. Movie sucked. Now, in retrospect, we pulled so much out of it, but how is the average viewer gonna pull anything out of this?
The average viewer's gonna see that movie and be like, that was a cute movie. I like that.
No, it was boring.
For you, it was
Maybe.
boring.
I don't know.
That's a you thing.
Leave a comment. If you think this shit was actually like, oh, I hate that phrase, leave a comment, because it sounds so fucking scumbag.
Leave a comment.
Right. It's a scumbag way to... just tell us. Somebody tell me. What the fuck did you think when you watched this? Was it boring?
Just leave all the hate comments on Trey. Tell him how stupid he is.
Shut up! Don't do that! I have a family.
It creates engagement.
No! Oh shit, that is your line. Fuck, those are your fans. Oops. Oh no. Fuck. But yeah, I don't know. It just definitely seemed... And when I say boring, it wasn't like it was a slog or I was unhappy, right? I never wanted to turn it off. I didn't almost fall asleep like the fucking midway through episode 6.
He was trying to tell me this is that Totoro's what is it? No, I said this is the most boring one, but I guess I needed the rewatch. And I would say I think Totoro is still more boring for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh? Because I put this above Totoro.
Yeah, I think Totoro's more boring.
No, I'm saying that's why I said huh, it's interesting because I would put this above Totoro in boring level.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, I wonder what the difference is because they're both pretty boring, right? Historically, I went into both of these thinking like, oh, I remember those being really boring, and both of them did check out on the boring level, but Totoro got better on rewatch.
I think I got more out of this one.
Oh, maybe. Which is hilarious because I pulled out all that metaphorical shit in the last one. And you were like, they didn't give me enough. I didn't pull out shit from this movie, and you pulled out everything. I wonder if that's something funny, though. Because I would argue we both have an equal ability. Yours is a little bit better to pull shit out. But we can see things. But what does that say about the context or the content of a movie? And how easy it is for someone to pull something out if they're engaged or not? Because I would imagine that means you're more engaged in this one than Totoro because you thought that little kid was annoying or you didn't care. So therefore, when the beats hit, you were like, whatever, I don't get it or I don't care. Same thing for me. I was like, yeah, she does packages. I don't get it. I don't care. Interesting.
I relate to Kiki. I've had a job since I was a youth.
Right. I wonder, yeah, if there's something about that. Because I think similarly to like education, we talked about education earlier and stupid English classes and everything else. You'd be surprised how many motherfuckers failing out of high school, if you give them a topic they enjoy, just go ape shit, and they're the most intelligent, smart motherfuckers you ever seen in your life, right?
Right.
So I wonder if that even applies to like. I mean, I guess we have evidence that supports it. Even this, even something like movie analysis, it actually matters that you're gonna get more or less if you're engaged with the story, and that even trying to be objective about it, because I assume both of us are trying to be objective about how we analyze it. Even then, there's still like a mental barrier that can get in the way. Crazy,
Yeah.
just crazy. That's interesting to think about though. Like in all aspects of life, like how much does engagement really affect what you can and can't do? You know what I mean? How many like pro athletes are like shitty on one team? They go to a different team and they're blowing motherfuckers out of the water. And you think, what? They've never done that in their life. It's like, yeah, because they weren't engaged. They just did not care about that team or that environment. And all of a sudden they're a fucking star player because they have something that they want to, care about, a team that they enjoy or a coach they really love or whatever, right?
Right.
Crazy, man. Okay, let's see. The cat was hilarious. Dude was pretty funny. When she first shows up, he was like, "Yeah, no big deal, man. I got rid of that cop for you." Like he was fucking spitting game, dude.
Right.
To be like a fucking 12-year-old curly-headed, pale, nerdy-looking boy.
He didn't have curly hair, did he?
Maybe it was the weird anime poof thing on his head.
Yeah.
It was like an
It
orange
was
poof.
stylized.
Maybe it wasn't curly, but it was some poof that naturally you don't have a
You
poof
just put
like that.
moose in it.
Maybe, yeah. Anyway, that fucker, and obviously curly doesn't mean necessarily your ability to approach a woman or not, but sort of stereotypes going off there. But I think it was funny. I said, damn, he's spitting game for real. Let's see. I don't know. They didn't do a good job for me. I guess I kind of saw it, but it felt really out of character. Where she was like mad bitch to him, and she was like, "You didn't introduce yourself, so humph." And I was like, she's never been shown to be like a proper or hoity-toity like rich bitch ever. So where does she get off acting like that now? And then I guess the whole point was supposed to be, well, she likes him, but then she didn't show any of that, like in the next 30 minutes.
I think she was just upset the way he talked to her. Like I couldn't. I was like, because the kid mentioned you talk like my grandma. I was like, oh, is she supposed to have some kind of like, like her
Properness.
speech should be very like old. You know how Japan has different speech. Like, oh, you have a certain way you're supposed to speak to your elders.
Oh,
Um,
true. This is a cultural thing. You're right.
this is a thing that could have been just completely just they just missed the mark. They didn't give her the dialogue that would be like old timey, or they thought that it wouldn't pass for like a kids movie, so they didn't give it to her. But they still gave the kid that line, so it'd be weird that they didn't change what he said. His response to her was like
Oh,
maybe call her high strung or something. Would have been a lot better than say you talk like my grandma.
right,
Uh,
right, right. No, that matters because yeah, there's a bunch of shit with like
yeah, she had made a big deal
dialects,
about how he didn't even introduce himself. He just fucking started talking to her out of nowhere.
right?
Uh,
Honorifics, all kinds of shit is so much more important to them than it is us.
right.
And I'm watching this movie as like he looks like a regular, maybe American, maybe European,
I
British
think this
white
movie
dude.
takes place in Germany.
Is it Germany? Okay.
It looked like it. I couldn't tell from the signs. I was like, I took 3 years of German. I'm fucking stupid. I'm just like, it looks like it's German, but I can't tell.
Right. The architecture is very European, but the kid seemed very American with like his aviation and stuff. And I was like, huh, I don't know. But definitely it wasn't Asian. Um, so I definitely didn't even think twice about culturally how much that could have played a part. But I imagine back then he wrote this for Asian audiences, so those kind of
Okay,
things.
yeah. I saw the little train cars, and I'm like, where is this? San Francisco? And then I saw some of the places, and it said fucking it looked like German. So I was like, Germany? I don't know. It's a fake city, but it's like it's based off of Stockholm. Uh, yeah, the city is just called Corico. It's a fictional city, but they took photographs of Stockholm and Visby. It also has elements of Lisbon, Paris, San Francisco, Milan, so all over Europe, and then San Francisco is of course here. So
That's awesome. We talked about that before, right? How you just create your own place
yeah.
so nobody can call it, which is funny because that's exactly what we're doing, comparing it
So
to regular places.
it's supposed to be set in a fictional Northern European country called Corico. So the country is called Corico. I don't know what the city's called, but there you go.
Okay, so it is European something.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean that makes sense. That's what I was thinking. Um, but yeah, you make a good point though that like their speech patterns are much more important than ours
Yeah.
because the most you're gonna get like if you approach somebody with some city girl or something, some proper whatever. We don't even have like Victorian English anymore in America. But if you
Right.
approach some proper girl with like, "Oh howdy, girl, you looking mighty fine," she's not gonna be like pissed. She might be
Right.
confused, but she's not gonna be pissed. And I think
Like,
you know
God
that's
damn, you're southern.
right. She might make a joke about it. It's almost like it'd make him more charming, right? So culturally, it was hard for me to understand what that scene was like or why it happened that way. But you make a
Yeah.
good point. Um, I thought it was funny when that snooty cat, fuck, Gigi said, "Oh, yeah, whatever, you little bitch," or some shit, like talking shit about the cat. I say, "Yeah, wait till she starts strutting that ass in front of you. You're gonna be having a different tune." And sure enough, he did. Oh, that shit was funny. Let's see. I already come. Did you see the maid from the old lady's house?
Yeah.
She is the second best character in that movie behind
Dude, no,
Gigi.
I was like, did they fuck up? Oh no, no, it was on purpose. Whenever like the second time she said something, yes, it's back on. Like, what are you crazy, grandma?
Dude, I fucking love it. She was in the hallway trying to ride the broom. Oh, I said, "What are you doing, lady?" She said, "I'm coming, coming." She like had to fix the dress when she came in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Fucking, and then at the end of the film, she's like, "Oh shit, I was watching that," and she's like trying to
Right.
watch all the people die in the blimp.
It was just getting good.
Right.
Jesus Christ, grandma.
I fucking love it, dude. Her character's so awesome. Those are the good characters we don't get in modern film. Let's see. Um. Oh, I made a joke too. I said, "Why didn't she fly to her delivery?" Shows up at dude's house. I said, "Oh yeah, for the plot, so they can spend time together."
Yeah.
Um. Also, she had more drama that also seemingly came out of nowhere. Because when he like his friends showed up and said, "We're gonna go to the blimp. You want to come?" He was like, "Yeah, I'll bring my friend." Nobody even was like mad about that. Like he said, "I'm gonna bring my friend," turned to her, and nobody said ew or no or we don't want her. Nothing. They were just smiling like, "Okay, cool."
Well, she didn't like that girl that he was with because she was like, kind of a cunt about her sweet grandma's pie.
Oh yeah. But see, she didn't say that because then I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with her? She's being a real bitch for nothing." When like his friends just want to hang out. I did notice it was that girl, but I didn't think too much of it. But then she gets home and she says something like, "All these people, did you see the way they looked at me? I could never have friends." Or something. I was like, "What? No one looked at you
Uh,
anyway." Like
yeah,
there was
I don't
nothing
know.
there.
I have no idea.
I don't know, and that's
Maybe
the
it's a
kind of thing.
Japanese thing. It's something that didn't make it over in translation.
Right. I'm not gonna give that one as
Or
much
she was
credit
just
as the previous.
self-conscious about the way she looked.
She has been shown to do that with the black dress since the beginning of the movie.
Right.
So it's not out of the question that her subconscious shit just kind of like made her overreact and lose it. Which honestly happens to even adults, you know? You go into a social setting, you're already self-conscious about something, and then all it takes is someone to even compliment you, which is hilarious, right? You're so fucking nervous or subconscious or upset about how you look or whatever, and then someone mentions, "Oh wow, your outfit looks really nice," and they're being genuinely nice to you because they think your outfit looks nice. They're just patronizing me and they hate me, and you fucking leave. You can't win, right?
Right.
If you're in such a negative mindset, you're never going to be able to win. You just kind of have to take things at face value. But I did, so maybe you're right. Maybe there's a little bit of that. They did have evidence that support. There was evidence from the text, like your English teacher says. Um, so I'll give that one a pass. Yeah, it makes sense. Um, Dude, Big Mama, when they were hitching a ride, she said, "You thought I was a man? What kind of man? Or Stella was a boy. What kind of boy has these legs, huh?" I said, "Ooh, you tell me."
It's
That
because
shit
of the
was
way
funny.
I dress.
Dude, I liked her character. I really did. I think I'm just mad because I wanted more of her character because she was cool.
Mm-hmm.
She reminds me of that classic, whoever the fuck, the mentor from Spirited Away, fucking Meg from Hercules, that same voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
They could have had her do this voice perfectly. It's in her wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I always love those characters, so
She was probably too young at the time.
Oh shit, I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're probably right.
Uh, how old is she? Mila Kunis.
That's Mila Kunis?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Meg. It's Mila Kunis. It's
There's
literally
no
her own voice. She doesn't change her voice.
there's no fucking don't you ruin this for me. Don't ever you did not I do not like anything she acts in ever.
She's 40. This came out in 89. So, yeah, this she would have been 7 or 8. I don't know. Kirsten Dunst was, but he voiced it, Kiki in that.
Whew. Okay, it's fine. No, it's Susan Egan. Thank God.
What?
The voice of Meg is Susan Egan.
No, it's Mila Kunis.
I'm looking it up here.
It's Mila Kunis.
Pull it up. So who's lying? The
It was
internet?
it was the other girl first, but then she left after a season, and then Mila Kunis took over.
A season? I'm talking about the movie.
What movie?
Hercules.
Oh, my bad.
What do you think I was talking about?
Family Guy.
Oh. Yeah, I knew it was Megan. I knew she did Family Guy.
Yeah, my bad.
Oh, yeah, I was talking about the cool Meg from Hercules, not stupid,
about the
ugly
same
Meg
age.
from the
It could have
show.
been her. Anyways, Megara. I don't know how Megara's voice actress how old she is.
I don't know. Let's look it up.
How old is she? What is her name? Susan
Susan
Farrell. Oh yeah,
Egan.
she was definitely old enough. She would have been able to voice her.
Let me see if she's actually the same one. I'm pretty sure it's her who does the thing, but I just don't know if she's in the movie. I don't see her in the credits here.
She's Lynn in Spirited Away.
Is it lit? Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It is. Okay, I couldn't. The page I just had pulled up, I didn't see it. Am I reading too fast? I do that a lot.
What's her name in KiKi's delivery service? I don't remember. Ah,
Maybe it's just
English.
not on this one. Also, this may be just the Japanese question mark.
What was the name of the character in Kiki?
Oh, I don't know. You could just. There's only like 5 important characters. You can just look up the thing, right?
Yeah, some of these don't have them listed as what character they voice, which is weird. Was her name Ket?
KiKi's deliveries. Here's how I. This is fucking hilarious. Google, guys. You can use Google as if you're talking to your friend. I said Kiki delivery service painter lady, and Google, and it gave me everything about it. It said Ursula. Ursula is the character for the anime films. Blah blah. She's voiced by Janine Garofalo in Disney's English dub.
That's weird. In Japanese, it's voiced by the same Kiki and Ursula are both voiced by the same person.
That's funny. Maybe it was an
So,
allegory for her being.
let me get some. Let me get my tie ready. Let me get my English teacher shits. Ursula represents an older, more confident version of her. She never actually existed in the movie.
No, that's actually what I was about to say. I wasn't going to say that shit, but I was literally about to say I'll bet she was an allegory for grown-up Kiki and what she could become. Which is hilarious that now she doesn't exist. Fuck that. I'm not buying into the cat could never talk and she didn't exist. That's fucking propaganda from the fans.
The fans, I just made that up.
Oh, yes, that's propaganda from the fans. You guys heard it here first, folks. That's actually the end of my notes. This might be a new record for the least amount of notes I ever had for a movie.
Oh man.
But let's finish it out. So he talks to her, the blimp, whatever. Oh yeah, one thing of note. Why, after the end credits, was she still riding that cheap-ass loaner broom?
I think because she liked it, because it was, cause the memory that was formed from her saving her friend on that broom.
You think that?
Yeah, I'm gonna get my English teacher shit on.
You think? Yeah, then give me some good. Give me some juice here, because that's.
Now we're out. We're tapped out.
The only thing I'll give credit to is midway through the movie, you see like her mom's broom was took apart and she was like shaving it or something, trying to fix it because she thought the broom was the problem.
Yeah.
Maybe she fucked her mom's broom up against like recognition and she could never use it again.
Well, she did break it.
I don't know. It was in pieces. The handle was
broke it
separated.
in half.
Huh?
She broke it in half when she was running around trying to when she first lost her power. She was running around trying to fly, and then she landed, and it broke.
Did she?
Yeah, she was making a new broom a couple scenes later.
Oh, imagine I forgot that completely. That's sad. So that was a new broom, not her mom's broom. So she did make a new broom that she never fucking used.
Yeah.
I wonder if that just shows that, like her mom said in the beginning, she's shitty at making brooms and her broom couldn't be trusted. So she just stuck with this one.
Uh,
But this broom was shitty
maybe.
too. She could barely fly. As someone who's KiKi's delivery service and my fly powers are the whole point of
What's
the movie.
her power? So it wasn't her mom's broom's fault. It's just that she didn't have confidence in herself.
Right, you're right about that. So yeah, it wasn't about the broom anyway. So yeah, then why the fuck? Oh, so I now I see it. So then it doesn't matter what broom she uses.
Right.
So the whole point of that scene of like she's blaming the broom, it's the broom is never the problem. It's you. So the fact that
Yes.
she uses the broom in the post credits scene just shows that she grew past this idea that it's someone else's fault other than mine.
Yeah.
God, this movie sucks, dude. That's fucking awful, dude. That is the most like,
I feel we're gonna have the reverse ratings for this one.
oh god, that's bad, dude. This is just fucking eat your heart out, artsy fartsy shit with like a boring ass movie to
It's artsy
fucking
fartsy city. You love it.
no, because it wasn't good. They didn't give me nothing. Nothing. Totoro gave me more than this. I'm gonna stand by that because they at least gave me like character action. Nothing that I've mentioned has had like good quality
What did I
evidence.
give Totoro? A 6.5.
I don't remember.
I'm gonna say I gave it a 6.5. I'm
I thought
giving
I
this
gave
one
it
a
a
7.
6.5. Not
Possible.
important. Kind of important, but fuck, I don't know. I think let's just call it. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. I'm
What do you
tapped
got?
out.
I
I
got.
don't know. There's no scene we really mentioned. It's not the dad in the very beginning probably fucking falling, tripping over his own cord because he was going on like wanted to go on a camping trip. That's about it. That's the only thing we didn't really talk about. But
We didn't talk
uh,
about the wife.
screw
She,
her.
her surrogate parents.
Surrogate. Oh, Osono, the bakery lady.
Yeah, she was
Yeah, she's
awesome.
great. She was awesome.
She's like a great mom character. Also, she went to that city and was like, everyone here sucks and they're mean and I don't want to be here. And then she found good people there. That was
Yeah,
probably a metaphor for something in life.
you'll find your tribe. Just stay true to who you are.
Right. Um, and that even though technological advancements made everyone forget about witches, there's some people who will still like you or whatever. Speaking of, witches, I guess, are normal in most of the world, but not normal, but forgotten. I don't know. It was really weird how like
There's not that many witches around.
because the one old dude was like, "Oh, I haven't seen a witch in a while." Then the other lady was like, "That's the stories my great grandmother told me," and she was an old lady. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "So how did this one
Just they're
old
not they're
dude?"
not that common as what all I got from that is that
Because it
they're
made it
around.
sound like he had seen one in his lifetime,
Yeah.
but she made it sound like she'd only heard stories of them from her great grandma was the last time they were around.
Maybe she don't get out much.
True, she was an old lady stuck in the house. Now she wasn't always an old lady stuck in the house. She was a child at some point. That doesn't count. But the way that I said that was kind of funny.
It was probably a young sickly child stuck in the house all the time.
Maybe she was rich though. You could tell by her house.
Probably stayed inside her house 'cause she was rich.
Right, because if you look at her house and how rich it was, she probably came from money, so she wasn't allowed to go explore. That guy was a fucking bum, not bum, but like a regular low class worker at a fucking place sweeping the floors.
Right.
So the chances of him being out and about and seeing people is much higher because he's going to traverse the city more regularly.
Right.
Cool. I don't think that was intended, but that's one of those really cool things that comes from storytelling that just kind of evolves from how things land. But that's a really neat point that she wouldn't have seen witches, or neither would her family, because they never left the house because they were rich aristocrats.
Right.
But he would have because he was like a low class dude, probably went to the bars and shit. Cool. But the husband was pretty cool. We didn't get much of his personality because he was a big, tough, gruff guy. But then when she said the baby's here, he was like, and fucking lost it. So he was like a little softy behind the scenes. He had a little personality.
Yeah.
Also,
He
when he
was
had the
funny.
moment with the cat, he like stared at the cat,
That
but
was
he wasn't
hilarious.
like mean.
When he did the fancy shit, the way he spun the things.
Right? That was cool, dude. Right? He's like a gruff dude. Then he's like, "Whoosh!" I said, "Dude, he's got the moves." So you could tell he enjoyed his life, right? Like he enjoyed just being a baker, I guess, even though it seemed like he was just a gruff dude.
Right.
So They got stuff, man. To anybody who thinks I just shit on hate this movie forever, it's got stuff. And if you listen
He
to the
thinks it's the
conversation,
worst movie of all time.
shut up! I never said
He
that.
said it was worse than She-Hulk before we started recording.
Holy cow, dude! No, 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 no. That is the worst piece of media I've ever watched in my life. That is strictly to this point, the only piece of media that I've ever told someone to never watch. Even like bad movies. I'm like, it's worth a watch if you got the free time. I take it back. There's another one. It's not as bad as She-Hulk, but there is another one that I would tell someone not. I wouldn't tell them not to watch it. I wouldn't tell them to go out of their way, though. And it's Semi-Pro. That movie's pretty bad. Like, that is like Will Ferrell at his lowest, I feel like. That movie was fucking awful. But
You don't like Elf?
Huh?
You don't like Elf?
Who?
Elf? Is that what you said?
No, Semi-Pro.
Oh, okay.
Movie sucked pretty bad, but I think it was still like if you're just drunk with your buddies and want to watch something.
I've never seen that movie.
Well, if you're drunk with your buddies and want to watch like a fucking 4.5 out of 10, you got it. So I wouldn't actively tell someone to never watch it. She-Hulk, I would actively tell someone to never watch. But then again, there was a caveat to that. If you have the lowest of low expectations of what your film should show you, you might like She-Hulk. You know, it's passable if you have really low expectations and low standards. So, anyway, not about She-Hulk, not about this. This movie, where do we put this one?
I'm giving this one a 7.
Holy,
I like this movie.
that is a lot. For you especially.
Gigi bumps it up a whole point.
He did. He bumped it up a whole point for me, and it still might get a 6. Like if it
I
weren't
like
for
this
Gigi,
movie. I will watch again.
I'd give it a 5 if it weren't for Gigi, but I might give it a 5.5. Let me sit and think. Yes, I'm gonna give it a 5.5, which is probably one of the lowest things I ever gave any movie. That's not fair. 5.8. Because it's not good enough to be a 6 for me as a movie.
Yeah,
as a sit down, because I want to give it a 6. That's too high. 5.5 is too low. I said, give it something in between. I've never done that before with like a point system, like in between. I usually give it a 0.5 or keep it in sets of 5. But I think maybe that's fair, 5.8, because there was nothing egregious that made me unhappy. Right? I was never watching the movie going, "Wow, I was really unhappy about that." But I was never watching it going, "Ooh, I'm super invested and I care." Would I watch it again? Sure. That means it has to be at least a 5. Were there some funny moments? Sure. Was Gigi awesome? He was the main part of the movie? Sure. They killed him off halfway through? That's why they're not getting as much for him. Fuck, I don't know. I still want to give it a 5.5. I just don't want to be so harsh because it's not that bad. But I think in terms of how I normally do my ratings, it checks out. Because all the things that we've discussed tonight that they could have done, or I think they did poorly, still check out. And this is because I have to give it an honest thing as an American viewer. Objectively, we can talk about like, oh yeah, culturally this made sense even though it didn't translate well. Culturally, this also made sense even though it didn't translate well. Also, that was like half the discussion. Was culturally some of this shit didn't land well, but then on the other side that wasn't culturally related, we didn't get enough. I don't think we got enough of like certain characters or certain things. So I think that's done poorly. If you give me something, you got to give me the build up. You got to give me the payoff. You have to give me either the build up to something or give me something and give me the payoff. It's a 2-step process. I need build up, payoff, or I need something and then payoff or whatever you call it. You get the idea. It goes both ways.
I got you. Yeah.
But I did a lot of the things just kind of were one and dones, right? Like back to what we talked about, the whole like going northbound on a train. There was a build-up of, oh shit, she's going northbound. No payoff at all. It never came back up ever again. Her character never acknowledged it. It never mattered. What else? Fucking There was a couple. We've talked about them. There's a couple of things where like she mentioned something or the story gave you something once,
Right.
and
You
then
can
we
hear my dogs.
never.
They're going fucking crazy.
Huh?
Uh, you can't hear my dogs, right? They're going crazy.
Oh no, you're good.
Okay.
But so yeah, there was a few things of like, yeah, they just didn't give you anything after. Because when we discuss it, I'm like, oh, cool, that could be a metaphor for this, and that could mean this, and that. It's all there, like you said. But in the movie, it's just a one shot or a one of or an off,
Yeah, yeah.
a small scene. But the characters themselves in the film never reflect on those ideas. The most reflection we got was when she learned how to fly again, and then that's it. Nothing else came to fruition. We never saw the art lady become famous. We never saw
What do you
Kiki
need
become
to?
a better flyer. Like she was flying consistently,
By the end of the movie, we get that little montage with her and the boy flying.
but she wasn't flying any better than she was at the beginning. Not the very beginning, but like when she got to
Well, the very
town.
beginning, she was flying kind of shittily.
Well, that's what I'm. That's why I changed it. Like not the very beginning,
Oh
but
yeah,
by the time she makes it to town, she was flying normal, right?
yeah.
She wasn't flying any better than that by the end of the movie.
But it
So the
was like it was like the movie ends in a on a note that she's going to get better rather than she's gotten better. That's kind of been like the the case with so far each Miyazaki movie is that like it's never the thing is never finished. It's always like, oh, we strive to do better.
huh? Yeah. I mean, looking back on it, you're right, right? Like they never fixed the planet at the end of the fucking
Right.
flower shits or whatever the bug.
Nausicaa.
Yeah, they never fixed it there. Lupin got away, but he never was like rich. That's not his film, so but I'll give it some credit. What else? Castle on the Shits. They never came back. No, the pirates got rich, but they didn't really. The kids didn't get anything.
Right.
Um, yeah. I mean, maybe there's something to that.
It's about the experience
But why do all the other
enriches
movies
their
feel
life.
better than this one then?
What?
I said, then why do all the other movies feel better than this one?
Maybe he had a change in his philosophy of life. I don't know.
Because those ones actually gave me a resolution. They gave me like points and beats and hits and payoffs and like all the things that I expect in the end of a movie. Even though the deed wasn't done, I got something. And I mean, the kid got his prototype, but he was never in question of like not
Maybe you your opinion will change when we get to those other movies.
right. Maybe. I mean, remembering back to like I've seen Howls and I've seen Spirited Away. Both of those I think had pretty good fruition or whatever you call it. There was like something gained by the end of the movie. That's kind of
Well,
what
the
I'm
little
looking at.
girl in Spirited Away did have a goal, and it was just to bring her parents back to normal. So I guess there is that.
Well, she gained so much more along the way, though. Like, and this isn't this spoilers, I guess, because I've seen that one so many times it's easy to remember. But at the end, she's like not scared, right, to be in the car anymore or be alone.
Yeah.
So she gained a lot throughout that movie, which we'll dive into later. But it's relevant for this conversation, so I brought it up.
Yeah.
Same thing for a lot of the other ones. They did gain some sort of knowledge, some sort of learning. I guess she gained be confident, but that wasn't like I don't know. She never lost anything for not being confident. And what I mean is like she didn't lose a friendship, she didn't lose a job, she didn't almost die. Like she didn't lose much. She had like a small period where it was like, "Hey, I'm not very confident. Oh, I can't fly. Okay, now I can again." The movie was over. The stakes weren't there. The stakes were much higher for what they were losing in all the other movies. And the characters, reaction to those stakes and how they pushed through them was much more interesting and well developed. I feel like this was just kind of casual. This like it happened over a weekend. Like it's like she had a bad weekend was the entire movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's not good.
But a weekend, it feels like your entire life when you're a teenager.
True. That is very true. Totoro happened in like 3 days, so also that's happened over a weekend. Why do I give that one more credit? That's
Right.
that's an important question to ask because if I'm gonna say that, I should be consistent. I think it's no, the characters didn't gain much. Not the little kid anyway, but the medium kid gained something. What did she get?
The Wish Kid gained what now?
I said the little medium age kid, like the older kid. The little kid didn't gain really much of anything. Um, but the older kid learned a lot. I feel like. There was a lot because like the neighbors were helping find them. She learned that she could trust that boy. She learned that her mom was gonna be okay. She learned to be patient with things about growing the trees. She learned a lot, dude. I don't think Kiki didn't learn shit because those things were also never taken
She
from her.
learned to believe in herself.
Boo. She always had that. She literally was
That's
so believing in herself that she was like, I'm fucking gone. Let's go right now, baby. She always believed in herself. Then, like, immediately after, I'm gonna make a delivery service. I can do this, I can do that. She believed in herself so much that she approached a stranger and was like, I'll go deliver that right now. Let's go.
maybe she started. Maybe she was false confidence. Maybe she was just projecting and thinking it would eventually come true.
That's so many layers deep, though. It's a film for people to watch.
Yeah.
Like, the good points can't be based on that. I think it's how I'm looking at it. Like, I like all the extra shit that we get to talk about, but half the time it's stuff that was auxiliary to the regular enjoyable part, if we'll call it that. I think it's all enjoyable. If anything, I enjoy the other shit more. But the regular, surface level shit is always in all these films kind of there. And
Mhm.
then the other artsy fartsy shit makes it better if you want it, but the film doesn't suffer without it. I feel like this film kind of suffered without it because it was all so fucking deep, all these things. Because if you look at the surface level explanation of most of the shit I've talked about, it looks pretty bad. But even Totoro, the surface level is whoa, they're here, cool monster in the woods, let's go explore, and then we go home. That's cool enough. You know what I mean? There's enough there to like keep, I think, continuity or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe her flying around is enough. It's not for me, I guess. Maybe
Not
I
for you.
wanted more. Yeah, maybe it's just all. I mean, obviously, anything we do review is personal preference, but I like to keep it as
Right.
objective as possible. um,
I'm not keeping it objective. What's good for me is good for me. All art and media is subjective.
I mean, that's true, but there's certain
That's
things
also a personal
you know.
opinion, but
Right, but there's certain things that you know. Like we know
I
that, for
know there's
example,
a
like
there's a trend of what is liked by the majority of people, but I'm not gonna rate based on the majority of people. I'm giving ratings based on what I personally like.
well, no, I'm not saying that. What I'm talking about, for example, is we know as a literary technique a betrayal, for example.
Yeah.
We know what a betrayal can signify to the audience objectively. We know what it can signify to the characters in the story. Like
Hmm.
we can objectify all of what a betrayal does for a story.
Yes, but certain betrayals can or cannot work based on the audience, not the. It's not something you can basically you can try to make it where it would work for everyone, but it's not gonna work for everyone.
Right. I guess it would just have to be make sense, right? So when I say objectify, I guess you're right. Deep down, it's always going to be an opinion. I guess I'm looking at more of the fact of like, did the betrayal make sense? Was it timely? Did the character's reaction to it help progress the plot? All these kind of
Yeah.
things that we know engage or disengage the audience based on historical data of like good film or bad film. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's kind of, I guess that's what I mean. And if I look at this one, a lot of it doesn't seem to add up or hold up as well as other film from a surface level. From a deep down level, sure, but I think we could have gotten more. But that's again, I think, right? If it was enough for you, that means there is an audience who got enough of this that it was good enough for them. So there's really no way to objectify that because I didn't get enough, but you did, huh? Well, there you have it, folks. Personal opinions,
Hmm.
which is obviously
All
all of
right.
these videos anyway. I try to
So
make it as whatever, but so yeah, I'm gonna give it
what
a
else we got
five.
left? That's it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I get a 5.5. What do you got?
I just said a 7. I'm giving it a
Seven.
7.
The one time. This is maybe the only time in history. Yours is higher than mine.
I don't think that's true. I think there was a Star Wars episode I gave higher than you.
Was it?
I think I could be wrong.
It was probably one of the newer ones, right? One of like probably 7.
No, I think you gave the newer ones way higher rating than I did.
Oh, was it? Because remember we had a
Yeah.
discussion about 7, and I was like shitting on 7 or
Oh, maybe. I say I did like 7 more than I did in the past, and I did you liked it less.
right.
Uh, so it may have been, yeah.
Because the other ones are pretty cut and dry. Of like we can tell how good or bad those are.
But I know I liked 1 more than I liked 2, and I think you did it the other way.
I did like yes, I did like definitely like 2 a lot more.
All right.
Speaking of, click
But,
the link in the description to go. We don't have link in the
yeah,
description. Just go find it on our channel.
I might remember.
If he remembers, click the link in the description to go to those.
You
videos
can just
for
go to our
Star Wars.
channel page and go on the playlist, and they're all ordered in proper order, unlike a lot of other YouTubers who just throw them in there.
That is true. We got good organizational skills, and if you ever want to see a series or something we've done, you can find it. And
They
while
might not
you're
be in
at
their
it,
order.
like and subscribe because engagement is good.
Leave an angry comment or a thumbs down because engagement is good.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye bye.